Didn't even do a countdown. The countdown's free.
Are you ready? Yes. Bam.
Yeah, I don't countdown. I feel like it takes forever. Go. Takes a minute for anybody to come in anyway, if anybody actually wants to watch. I have a lot of viewers. Yeah, so this is SeerNova podcast live. We're going to go around the virtual room and people are going to tell people who they are, what they do, and we're going to start with John and go all the way down to Aaron.
All right. Well, I write and publish under Diebold Comics. I have a Kickstarter out right now, Alma, What If Buffy Was a 72-Year-Old Grandmother. I think I've published about 30 comics so far under Diebold Comics. So I did a Kickstarter about a month or two ago for Death Reign that we did succeed. Right now I'm about $347, I think, for my goal for Alma. But I've still got about 21 days to go. So hopefully, if I can't make $300 in 21 days,
that's completely
pretty bad.
Am I next? My name's Castro. I do DMW Comics. I wrote Bad Wabbit. I basically sit at home and write comics. That's my life. And being a dad. That's the other half that nobody sees. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Bad Wabbit.
Okay. Well, Jessica?
That's it in a nutshell. I mean, I live in Montana. I got two kids. I write a lot of stuff.
I write a lot of stuff too.
I am Jessica. I write nothing, but I produce and edit for Catalyst Comics Studio. My favorite part about it is getting to help pick which projects are going to be next. Getting to see them all coming in, whether it's from the array of stories that come from Aaron's mind or whether it's from new publications that are coming in. And it's fun to be able to see them all and pick through them.
Well, I also run Catalyst Comics, and I write a whole bunch of stuff, and I make stuff, and I have a headache, so that's about all I'm going to give. So.
Why do you have?
You said like 2 words, and then I went. Brr.
That's also what I heard, but I get
now you're muted.
Oh, it's because I keep pressing the thing.
Oh.
Why do you have a headache?
I don't know. I asked it, and it didn't answer me. So.
I hate when they don't talk back.
Right?
I'm just sharing this to 1,000 groups that no one's going to look at.
Yeah,
you mean everyone?
Every single one.
But you haven't made it to the third cup of coffee today, right?
What?
I finally made it to my first.
Oh.
I'm trying to share as well, just so you know.
That's what I think we're all doing right now. Oh, I got my eyelash in my eye.
All right. Say something, Craig. Let's make it less awkward.
Well, no, it's because the dog's barking.
Where is Dylan?
He's not on this thing, normal.
I thought this was like the podcast.
It's the live stream version. And
okay.
Yeah. I was like, you can join if you want, or the next one that we're gonna do another one on Friday. This Friday. But it's just gonna be me, Adam, and Josh that does like mids and stuff. So, and he didn't answer me when I said that. I was like, cool. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about some really cool projects, and try to not hear dogs barking.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was a squeaky toy or something.
No, it's him whining because my friend is gone.
Because your friend is gone. He loves your friend so much.
It was his dog, and then
Oh.
yeah.
And so he's sad.
Yeah.
You gotta let him process, Greg.
There's no processing here. You get over it now.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up. So yeah, well, we're gonna start with John with Alma.
Look at your background being different, Greg.
What?
Look at your background being different.
At my background being different.
Yeah.
What?
You're sitting in front of a door. You're sitting in a chair.
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to seeing just darkness.
Oh, well, I turn the light on.
Oh.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I can afford electricity.
Mm.
Usually it's by candlelight. But, cool. So yeah, you're gonna fund because you have enough time.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd be very embarrassed if I don't fund with as little bit and as much time as I have left.
Yeah.
And you have more money on your Kickstarter than we do, so you get an extra high five.
It's we started off the first day we made almost half the goal in like one day, but then after that it died. And the last 2 days I've managed to get a couple more, but it's been really slow the last since then. So we're probably going to do some specials for the 4th of July. I've got a few more covers that I have to put up on there for some reward tiers. Just trying to add some new things for people that have already seen it, or to bring in a few more people. Anything to keep the momentum going, which we've already kind of lost that momentum, but hopefully it'll kind of kick back in. The artist on it's Hernan Gonzalez. That's his cover. That's the standard cover. That's the regular cover for the book. And we've got I think 4 or 5 variant covers. I've got 2 more variant covers that I've got to put out. They'll be going out probably this next week. We're going to do a few specials for, like I said, for the 4th of July and offer a few things. It's a 48-page book. It's, if you can't tell, it was very inspired by Buffy, but it's Buffy inspired it and my mom inspired it. My mom's name is Alma. So when I was trying to think of a name for the character, the strongest person I could think of at the time was my mom, and so I named it after her. And I actually had the comic finished. My mom passed away a little over a year ago, so she got to see the comic before she did pass away. The comic it's 48 pages. It's 32 pages of comic story. There's a letter page in there. There's actually 4 pages of recipes from my mom. So you don't see too many comics with recipes in them. My mom was kind of writing like a biography or a memoir for us kids before she passed. So I put a couple pages of that in there. So it's really a combination between the comic and my mom in there. So it turned out really nice, I think. Like I said, it's 48 pages. The second issue is already written. 8 pages of it's drawn, but I need to finish paying Hernan before we can go out. The 3rd issue is already written. So this is, I wrote this, I created this to be kind of a continuing series, and I've got a lot of ideas for it. So if I can keep making enough money to pay the artists and the letterers and everybody else, it'll keep coming out. We actually set a goal for this too. I think it's $6,000. If we make $6,000, which that'll be really surprised, we'll actually do this book in color.
That's pretty
Which
cool.
I'm not sure. I like the black and white, but color seems to be, more people like color than the black and white. Hernan's art, I think, really looks good in black and white too. So we're gonna try the color if we reach our goal. We've got a couple drawn in tiers, which for our last Kickstarter, Death Rain, the drawn in tiers are, if it hadn't been for the drawn in tiers, we wouldn't have made our goal. I mean, our drawn-in tiers like financed half the book.
Mhm.
It was crazy. We had some big. We had a couple people spend a lot of money on drawn-in tiers. So I'm hoping that if we can get a couple of those on this, that kind of moves the needle really quick.
Right. It's a
Yeah.
larger item. It
Yeah,
helps.
Yeah, for our scales campaign, we had a drawn tier, but there's that. I think you had that person too. They messaged you, and they wanted like a specific thing.
Yeah.
The Death Girls.
Yeah, and I had that person message us, and then I was like, "Well, the book's already made, so I can't just add you into the story for no reason." And then they're like, "Oh," and then they just stopped, and I was like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah.
Well, if they provided almost $2,000 of our goal for Death Rain.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they were very, I mean, it's. I've also got probably 200 emails from them back and forth about what they want and what they don't want, and it's a laborious process. But if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have funded.
Yeah, they had a whole I want to be a villainous character, and I'm like, okay, well, the first issue of Scales is there's no
Didn't have room for it in there.
Yeah, there's no room.
Yeah, well, Death Rain worked for them really well because it's set on a planet of monsters and demons. So we could do. I mean, they really wanted to get killed and all this, and they went into detail about how they wanted it. And I was like, whatever y'all want to do, we can make it work for this comic.
Yeah.
For Alma is going to be a little rougher to, a little harder to do something like that. I can do the drawn-in tiers, but it's going to be a little more controlled.
But yeah, it's looking awesome, and you're definitely gonna fun. So
Yeah.
I think it looks fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a process learning to do Kickstarters. I mean, like I said, this is the second one. The first one, we really started the first one and it was terrible. When we launched Death Rain, it was because I created the page and everything, and I didn't know what I was doing. And right after I created it, I had people messaging me like, "What is this? This looks terrible. Do something else." So Kevin, who runs a company, Inked Publishing, who helps with Kickstarters, he actually came on and just helped me recreate Death Rain, the whole Kickstarter and everything. And he's behind helping me with Alma too, but Death Rain, he just kind of just said, "Look, I'll fix it for you." And if it hadn't been for him, I don't know what we would have did, but because I definitely didn't know what I was doing.
yeah, I've had some people when they ask me for advice or whatever, and I'm not a master at Kickstarter or anything, but they're new creators, and they're like, "Oh, what's this? Is this good enough?" And it's just a paragraph of text, and there's
At least no.
and I'm like, that's not good enough. You gotta add something,
Yeah.
a few things there. They're like, "But I don't have anything." I was like, "Then maybe you just wait."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should probably make something.
Yeah, make a few. Well, I don't have money to make things, and I was like, then figure something else out. So.
Yeah, I think you're at a Kickstarter impasse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was terrible. Death Rain would have just died really quick if Kevin hadn't jumped in and helped out with it. And I mean, he created the page and everything for Alma, and I think it turned out perfect. I mean, it really looks good. I mean, I'm learning a little bit more each Kickstarter, but I still don't want to have to attempt that myself. You don't realize how hard it is. You think it looks easy, it looks, oh yeah, I could throw all this up there until I go to start throwing it all up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've put some Kickstarter pages together myself, and then I started to have my friend Josh, that's the artist for Mittens, and a couple other things that he does with us.
Mittens is great.
He's now is my graphic designer kind of person for Kickstarter or whatever. Yeah, so I usually just have him do it.
I think if that's your thing, it makes total sense to you, and if it's not, it's just you'd rather someone else do it.
Yeah, I for my friend Matt's one Kickstarter, he had another cat comic, but it was called Marbles the Cat or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was not like mittens; it was like an actual cat, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like I don't know, cyborg or something. And I created his Kickstarter page. He's like, this looks awesome. Like I did this all in Canva. Like okay,
That's all you need.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
I have like a few pages done. I would like to at least have the whole comic done if I could, but
Yeah.
ink is like halfway done right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing with Alma too. Alma's 100% done. Death
Yeah.
Rain, we're not done. We got a long way to go before we finish it, but Alma's 100% done. So it's once we get it, all we have to do is the printing of it. And it can go out. Which
Scales Scales would have been fulfilled probably in May if the printer didn't take forever to send these things.
Yeah.
But that was like the only thing holding me up was I had everything else like the stickers and keychains and stuff.
Yeah.
I even sent the shirts out like way ahead of time. And
let me ask everyone a question then. What printers are the best to use?
There's
So-
just the one everyone talks about and everyone else.
Spring.
yeah. So
See, I've been using what is it? MIXAM.
Mixum.
Yeah, they're
Mixam.
kind of high though.
Yeah, I don't see they're priced that much higher than anybody else when I've compared it. But I've always
Who'd you compare it to?
I don't
Because
remember.
I'm not asking that to be a jerk. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm asking that because I do that. Like we look that up all the time to see if prices change and stuff. So far, what we've found is Comic Impressions is still the ones that we're going to use for stuff.
Okay, I don't know if I've checked with. No, I'd rather if somebody can give me a better price on something. But one thing with Mixam, it's been really good for me is they've always got the book to me within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're quick and their books look really good. So, and like I said, I've printed probably 30 comics from them, and I've never had an issue with any of them yet.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the good relationship, that's what matters. The problem is like the one that Greg's talking about is just everyone seems to have a problem with them, but everyone's still using them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I know who
Like,
you're talking about. 'Cause
I think it has to do with
But
price.
what entices them to change?
Yeah.
If everyone's still using them and they still get away with the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I ordered for Bat Rabbit 2, I had to call them like literally every day for 2 weeks. I had paid for the fast shipping and all that stuff, and it was
Yeah.
like 14, 15 days, and they hadn't even started printing. I was like, yo, what the hell? So I called them, and then after like the sixth time of calling them, they had it there in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's harassment.
so my problem with them was I was waiting for them to print the book. I don't know if I want to drop. I'll drop names. I don't give a shit. All right. So there's a Mel person that works there, and I even emailed. I was like concerns about printing, and I was like, I need this stuff like by this certain date because we have this like 1 day convention thing, and I would like to have all of our comics to finally be able to sell. They're like, oh, okay. Well, I would do a rush order, and I was like, cool. So I paid extra to do a rush order. They didn't. This other lady emailed us and said, "Oh, I didn't even see that it was a rush order because the one thing that you ordered, which was the foil cover, which looks awesome." So yeah, but she's like, "Oh, I didn't see because that's not a rush, but everything else is a rush." And I was like,
Oh, gosh.
"Yo."
Yeah, you messed me up so bad.
So I was like, what? So they're like, okay, so we're gonna get like to that right away, and you're still gonna get like your order on time. It's like it's not on time because
Right.
late June 14th,
Right.
to me after the fact, and then Dylan's like, I would wait until after we get all the comics in hand and then complain. And I was like, cool, do whatever you want. So he's gonna email them something. But
Stern words.
Yes.
But like I got the first box because they didn't send both boxes at the same time.
Of course
I
they
got
didn't.
I got the first box and I was like, this is not
They were in
everything.
such a rush to get the first one
Yeah.
out.
Someone was standing at Comics Wellspring like, what is this random box down here?
So the other box came. Oh my god!
He's laughing.
So the other box came the next day, but the first box was not scales, and it was Chronicles of Horror 2, which that's cool because I needed more of those, and Chronicles of Horror 1, and like some of the Seer Chronicles stuff and mittens, and I was like, that's cool, but like I need the other stuff because I wanted to like ship the stuff, scales, and then I sent them a Instagram message because that's somehow how they contact people quick is through Instagram. So
Okay.
I sent them a message and I deleted like right immediately after I saw the email saying like the other box is on the way. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was like,
Oops.
emergency, you fucked up. And
Mhm.
and then I was like, oh shit, I just saw this email. Never mind. And then I deleted it and like unsent it. And I was like, yeah, that never happened.
Has anybody ever used Print Ninja? Because they've contacted me. You know.
I mean, I got their sample pack one
Yeah,
time,
they
and that
sent
thing was dope as crap. What a
They're
sample
sending, me
pack!
they're sending me a sample pack to look at.
Oh, it's awesome. They give you a little ninja sword. They give you a ninja
Yeah.
mask.
What?
Yeah, like you should just get one. And then like really, honestly, what I liked about the sample pack that they sent the most was something I had been thinking about but not even said to them was the trading cards. They sent like a whole bunch of different samples of how they print trading cards, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
was really cool.
They were trying to get you into it. Like,
Yeah.
no, we don't have one. We have many styles.
Yeah. I think the best sample pack I've ever been given, though, was the one from Comic Impressions, because they are a comic book printer. And so when you ask them for a sample pack, they just sent a bunch of different comics that they've printed, just with all the different paper types. And then they sent you a stack, like it's a wrapped stack of just different paper types. And so you can just kind of feel through all of them and see what you like. Like that's awesome, because then you actually have your hands on the feel that you want.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Also, like if you ever do want to talk to them, we deal directly with the owner and the owner's wife because it's so much easier, and just let them delegate. So
I'll have to look them up. I haven't even seen anything about them before.
yeah, they're out of Florida.
Oh, okay. I wonder what the shipping would be to Montana.
I don't know. At some point, it might be just ground flat rate.
Yeah. I still have to figure out the shipping cost from here. The closest place to my house is some podunk middle of nowhere store, and they ship stuff out, but because it's not a post office, they charge an arm and a leg for shipping. So I the other day, just to test it out, I went over there to see how much it would cost. It was $12 just to ship one comic.
No.
Oh,
Nope.
no.
I said,
No.
no, I will take that extra trip further into
Yeah,
town. to
for
go to the
sure.
post office.
Yeah. Pirate ship for all the like discounts, and then you stick them on there yourself, and then bring it to a post office and let them deal with it.
Huh.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know Pirate Ship, you should check out Pirate Ship.
No, I've
So,
heard of it.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody was
That's-
telling me about them, so that's who I'm going to look into when I get ready to ship.
Yeah. Just to get I mean, if you want the full setup, then you just get a thermal printer and the pages, and you just do it yourself. But you save a lot of money using Pirate Ship.
Cool. I have to check that out.
So I have to go take the dog out real quick.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because he drank a lot of water. Yeah, this is like a whole thing I got to get used to now. But
if you let me share my screen, I can go.
yeah. So share it, and then you could start rambling on about Bad Wabbit, and then we could get into other stuff after that.
All right. Everybody's good. They can see it.
Nope. There we go.
There it is.
No, don't do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn the camera off and then mute myself.
All right. So I'm doing
Great.
Bad Wabbit number 3. This one is going to be a lot of backstory about who Bad Wabbit was when he was a kid and what he's been through. If you've been following the story, you know he's got a traumatic past. I drew a lot of his past on my own. I did not grow up in the bestest neighborhoods, and I saw a lot of really messed up stuff. So I kind of am using that as his past too. And he lives in a post-apocalyptic world. If you guys don't know, this is the first cover. I'm very into like homage type covers. I think they're really cool. They catch eyes. People register that real quick. So this one was based on the original Star Wars cover or poster. But instead of a lightsaber, he's got his middle finger and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So, and then this is actually based off a drawing I did. This is book 2. This is The Grand Escape, as it were. And I did a lot of graphics on this one, more so than my others, because I learned from people such as Aaron and Travis and all those guys, and so I put a lot of stuff on here so people could see some cool stuff. There's me looking stupid. Chris Philbrook. If you guys don't know who Chris Philbrook is, he's my editor, but he's also an amazing author. He has the series called Adrian's Undead Diary. I believe there's like 15 books as of right now in the series. I've read every single one of them at least 3 times. So I mean, the guy's amazing. He was my favorite author before I started doing any of this stuff. I had followed him for years, and then somehow through the fate of wills, we became friends, and now he's my editor for Bad Wabbit, and he's awesome. So go check him out, Chris Philbrook. And then Tommy Guns, I don't have an actual picture of him. He always just draws. So he's the artist. He's the guy behind all the cool pictures that you see inside the covers. Speaking of covers, I'm still waiting on the covers for book 3. So I'm sorry I don't have that. But the inside's completely done. This is actually a screenshot. We actually had number 1 and number 2 best sellers in Western graphic novels. That was a pretty cool day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I woke up and saw that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, look.
I did it.
Yeah, I did it, Mom. I told you I would.
Top to damn fun chart.
Another thing I picked up through my fellow creators was giving people kind of like what's inside, so they know exactly what they're getting. So I put down the specs of the books. I use the same setup for all of them, so they're kind of consistent. And if the story comes out a little shorter, I'll add some really cool stuff in there. Typically I try to get Tommy Guns a sketch in there because he's living in China and he can't really be here to throw some sketches in there. So I let him put one in the actual book. This is, I'm going to, like my other Kickstarters, I admit, especially the last one, was a little rushed, and because we were moving to Montana and I wanted to be able to get it done, get the stuff and ship it out before we moved.
Yeah.
So it was a little expensive. I admit, sorry guys, everybody, they complained about it. I gotcha. So the last one was, I'm not even going to go into it. It was $20 per comic. And as we know, that's a little high. I get it.
Yeah.
So these are going to be 10 now, all of them, even the new one, to make up for it. So this is the first book. I put a couple of pages of that one in there. This is the first page, kind of telling you the premise of the story you're about to read. This was a bar fight. And then, of course, we get a flashback of Bad Wabbit when he was just a kid, homeless on the streets, and his friend Bonnie. It's very touching. Then we get Bad Wabbit 2. This is The Grand Escape. I'm telling you, this right here was probably one of my favorite pages because of this panel alone. So Tommy Guns, the guy that draws this, he's not a comic book artist. That's not what he does as a living. He's actually an animator. So you can see a lot of like animation kind of stuff going on, and he does it so well. But you know, like that's he's good. And then of course you got the end of that one. This is actually, there's supposed to be a cover between these two images, but these are images from book 3. Like I said, there's a lot of flashbacks. So this is like Wabbit as a child. And this is him and his mom and dad, and his dad's drunk, beating his mom around. And it's a pretty, you know, tough thing to get through. But I think everybody's going to really understand more about Bad Wabbit once we get into it, because they're going to see like a lot of what he's been through. And we get to see Toxic Pig shine. Everybody loves Toxic Pig. He's not even the main character, but it's like Sam Wise, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Sam because he's the guy that keeps you going, right? And that's Toxic Pig to Wabbit, you know? He's like, I believe in you, even if nobody else, you know, does Wabbit. So he keeps Wabbit alive in book 3. He goes all out, and we get to introduce some new characters. I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan.
Nice. Yeah.
I wanted.
Are you?
I wanted to put some cool, you know, homage type characters in there.
Yeah.
And they're actually frog people that live in a frog village in an oasis. If you know, the entire planet is pretty much dead. And this oasis, just for some reason, is able to thrive. And ever since, you know, anthros, which are the anthropomorphic creatures, that's what they've been called by the humans before the humans died off. They were dubbed anthros. So anyways, the frog anthros have lived there for hundreds of years and just kind of lived there, you know. But we get to see them, and they all talk like they're surfers, because the human that saved their race was a surfer, was like a, you know, skateboarder.
Yeah.
So that's how they learned how to talk, and that's just their dialect. Hey, dude, what's up, bro? Shaka bra. You know, that's how they talk. So it's going to be real fun to see all the you know, once they get into the frog people, it's going to be really funny. The elder frog, he sounds like Chong, you know, like he talks like, hey, man, you know. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be fun. But we got some stretch goals. I've been collecting indie comics from all my fellow indie comic creators. They've been volunteering their first issues and sample packs, and I'm going to put them in a large file full of everybody's stuff. So if you guys have any that you are willing to donate and want people to see, as soon as we get to that first stretch goal, anybody that has gotten a physical copy of Bad Wabbit 1, 2, or 3 is going to get that sample pack sent to everybody. I might just do it for everybody anyway, because I'm a really nice guy like that. But the last Kickstarter, we did not get to any of the stretch goals except the first one, which was like a free sketch for everybody. And a lot of those.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and do the motion comics. I know you guys have probably seen a lot of motion comics, but we're going to do all 3 books. We're going to try to do all 3 books as stretch goals, but I do have to pay the guy to do it. So I have to do each one individually. But Bad Wabbit #1, Friends, we're going to try and get that. All these are going to be done with sound effects and voices. And, you know, it's not going to be just emotion. It's going to actually have, like, people talking. And I've already got a Toxic Pig voice. I'm going to probably do Wabbit myself. And I have Foxy. She lives in England, so she's got the British voice. And I love it. It's awesome. Uh, so, but other than that, I mean, that's pretty much Bad Wabbit, number 3 Kickstarter. I am gonna have a basics, and when it comes to
Should probably save.
yeah, I probably should do that. I don't know what I did, but we'll fix it later. But as far as tiers go, I'm going to keep it real simple because the last one was very oversaturated. I felt we had like 6 different covers, 5 or 6 different covers, and then I had like 6 different shirts and like 6 different hoodies, and I had stickers and all. It was just it got really confusing and really complicated. I was getting letters from people saying, "Hey, why is this here and why is it not there? If you're going to put it there," and it's just like, okay, so. I'm not doing that this time. I'm keeping it real simple. I got the first. See, I don't have the image there because I'm waiting on my covers. But I'm gonna do the digitals for $3 each, $8 for all 3, $10 for any of the comics, and then $25 for all 3. The shirts, they're 30. They come with the comic and the digital. Nice. I need to add that on there. I'm bringing back some of the original. Like I'm wearing that shirt right now. I'm bringing back some of the original shirts and hoodies because they got a lot of attention, and I can still wear this anywhere. And I'm always, what's Bad Wabbit?
Yeah.
What is that? You know? And I'm like,
now you know which ones really resonated well with people, and you get to put those out there and bring them back in like the other version, the hoodie instead of a shirt. So that's nice.
Oh yeah, so that's why I got the hoodie, I got the shirt, and I got the Toxic Pig on a bomb. Yeah. That's actually the very first Toxic Pig design I ever created with what is that, Canva crap?
Yeah.
So, but. I admittedly didn't draw it, but that's the one I first pieced together. I was just like, dude, I'm gonna do something with this pig. And my wife laughed at me. She was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, watch that.
Yep, people like the pig.
Watch me in this pig.
So I really like that design, so I could just put it on a shirt.
Yeah.
And so that's there. I got some add-ons, simple add-ons. I got the D&W pin. It's $3. I just got some magnets. I got a Sticker Mule had a thing, and I caught it on the last day.
Nice.
It was like $19 for 50 magnets, die-cut magnets.
Nice.
So I'm gonna have those because I had the stickers, but I'm like, magnets are so much cooler because you can really like stick them on your car, stick them on your fridge, stick them on your beer. Anyways, but I got Foxy doubloons. I still got a bunch of these. Where's mine? Yeah, they're really cool. I think that people who didn't get them are missing out. If I could stop moving my camera, but yeah, they're weighty. They have weight to them. They're not like a tin nickel or anything. Those are really awesome. Those are 20. They were 25 last time, but I'm dropping it down 5 just because I'm a nice guy. And then I got the hoodie and the shirt. I'm going to add the other hoodies and shirts on here too for if you just want to get those. But as of right now, that's all I got. I don't plan on launching for a while, honestly. It's going to be like maybe a month and a half before I actually launch because, like I said, the last one was really rushed, and we struggled to get to that 4,000. So I dropped it down to 3,000 as our goal, and we're going to wait and just do stuff like this, promote, and get as many people, on as possible before we launch.
So you do, yeah. All right. I see the pre-launch link now.
Yeah. We're on pre-launch right now.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah. So that's Bad Wabbit.
I always think more people will come after once it's a compilation and a whole story, once it's not just one issue and there's more. So
yeah. Well, that's definitely we're even talking about doing like an omnibus after maybe 3 or 4 issues.
Mhm.
Just putting them in. Why would we not go back? There you go.
Especially since you're covering so much time in a lifespan, like that
Right.
makes sense to do.
Yeah. I mean, it really is going to go full circle. So, like, we're starting at the beginning with Bad Wabbit here, and he's just like a burnt out drunk. And then throughout the story, we're going to start with the flashbacks as a kid. And by the time the story's over, he's going to be completely changed. And then we're going to see a flashback of how he started.
Yeah.
So it's going to like do that whole full circle kind of thing where you can like, oh, wow, that's a
You
big
understand?
change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be cool, man. I think this is going to be a really good series. I have 19 issues planned, but it might turn into 20. I'm already halfway through book 6 writing, but I don't think I'm going to be able to tell the full story that I want to tell in that one issue. So it might have to cut it in 2. But I was warned about that, and I was like, nah, it's going to be all right. Like, no, yeah.
That happens.
Right. So, but yeah, that's cool. Guys, go check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to it, then do your thing.
Greg's back.
Oh, hey, look. Hi, Greg.
Doing that.
It's our host.
Ah,
My host. Yeah, the host that's like not here. Yeah, I can't wait for the third one. You guys
Yes,
let me
me.
read the first one, and then I have to read the second one. But yeah, it's cool.
it's in a stack, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You mean the box?
Yeah, exactly. That's
think
exactly what I meant.
Yeah, I think there's like a few that I've like read once I get them from Kickstarter, like Tilt or One Last Job.
Oh, I went straight to the toilet with Scales. I was like, man, I got to read this now.
Let me take a moment.
Yeah. I can't wait for the second issue of Scales because there's actually like superhero stuff in that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
So, Aaron, what do you got going on?
Oh, yeah. So I'll keep the Restless one kind of short because there's not much to talk about yet. And then set the hooks for more prominent thing right now. But yeah, so Restless, it's a 30-day devotional for dads that are going through divorce and custody battles and dealing with all the different kind of emotions that go along with that. It's 30 days of devotions as well as little like mental exercises and stuff like that. So I think hopefully it'll find an audience for it to help. It's already had some decent feedback, and it's on Amazon right now. But I was like, why not just actually try to do a crowdfund? And I learned something cool in the process, apparently with Indiegogo, because yes, this is on Indiegogo because why would I put a devotional on Kickstarter? But anyway, what I learned in the process is you can just have, instead of a pre-launch, it's similar to a pre-launch, but like you can just go ahead and give people a deal to put their email in and sign up. So like whenever that launches, all the people that sign up on that are going to get 25% off the first purchase or whatever. That's pretty cool. So I haven't messed around with Indiegogo too much. It's we've done in demand. There's 3 things on there, and there were 2 in demands, and then this thing that's occurring. But it just made more sense to put it over there for different reasons. So, if you know somebody that's going through divorce, custody battles, dealing with that, or just all the emotions that go along with having the fallout of all that, anger and being worried, and, insecurities, all that kind of stuff. It talks about all that. 30 days. My goal for it was to have 30 days where you find things to be grateful for. Like I said, each day also has a little workbook section as well. So I'm looking forward to getting that to a wider audience. This particular campaign is going to be to help fund getting a whole bunch of prints in so that we can take them to bookstores and different places that would carry it, like Christian cafes or whatever. So that's the big thing for me personally, and I guess the other thing would be set the hook. So show that, Greg.
Yeah.
And so I'll let Jessica talk about it because she's the president of production and she's the one that signed off on us adopting this thing.
Okay, so this has got to be my one of, if not my current favorite indie comic, which I mean, I guess you would say that if it was kind of yours a little bit, but it wasn't mine when it was first made. When I first read through it, what I saw was really bright, awesome looking colors and a story about an angry man, a belligerent angry man, and a fish. A lot of nerdy fish. I saw really great art with deep sea fish that I recognized. So it was clearly an artist who had like cared about what they were doing and cared about the creatures that they were creating and the world that they were making. It has a very specific art like vibe style to it. You can see it in the kind of cartoon style. The main character comes across entertaining in the sort of, he's not a likable character, but he's likable in that, you know, it's a relatable sort of way. And then it has classic literature ties. The creator, the author of this one, was influenced by Moby Dick. That was Chad Perkins. And so I thought that was really cool about it, that it had that kind of tie to it, because that's kind of the world I came from, was reading more novels instead of comic books, and now I get to see them start to come together, and here's a fun story with delightful artwork beside it. And so there, I guess that's what I have to say about Set the Hook.
Yeah, this was so we met Chad a while back on a different live stream, and we all kind of hit it off immediately, and just same kind of like things that we were all into. And so through that course, we just talked more, and then Chad was like, you know, how can I help with the stuff you're doing? And so we brought him on as social media manager for Catalyst. And then he was like, well, you know, if y'all are going to start taking submissions, then I'm just going to send this one in. So we came in late, honestly, to, you know, the campaign page and everything had already been done. So he sent it to us in a submission. It was, you know, Van is over our submissions for Catalyst, and he sent it up to Jessica, and she signed off on it. So then we talked about a couple of things that we wanted to see different. One of them was the logo, and that's why there's that one now. And then just a couple other interior things. And he was, you know, really easy to work with, and we were excited to kind of adopt it and take it. And so now here we are. And so I weaseled myself in a couple different ways. He was like, you know, if you want to help with the design stuff, I was like, yeah, let me do the cover dressings and the logo. So I did that. And then the lettering was another sticking point for us. Was we wanted to see that change a little bit. So, you know, so I was like, I guess I'll do that. So the catch with this lettering, though, is Tim Spavara, the artist, drew all the word bubbles in there. So it's been real
difficult, yeah.
Real difficult, but it's you know, it's whatever. And then the other thing, I made a little trailer announcement for them for this book coming to Catalyst, and I had fun with that, as well as a random flash fiction. I like to call it a flash fiction. And basically, I took the story and I told it from the fish's point of view. And I was like, you know, if you hate this, let me know. And so I sent it to him, and he was like, this is fantastic. And I said, also, I'm sorry, because people are going to feel for the fish.
Yeah. I've accidentally given some character to this fish that you weren't supposed to have to feel bad about. Oh, no.
Exactly. I asked him, I was like, what's the name of this fish? He was like, it doesn't have one. And I was like, well, I was going to call him Glurb because that's what a name would sound like underwater. And he was like, perfect. So now his name's Glurb. His full name's Gut Slicer, but if you were to say that underwater, it would just sound like. So, but anyway, so it's a really fun book. It honestly is one of the most fun things that we have come across in the indie world. So I'm excited. It's a really good creator. He wrote Blue Lullaby, which was an Action Labs comic a while back, and then The Legend of Sparkle Dog, I think, was the other one. So yeah, he's been around for a little while. This is kind of his reemergence, and it's a story that he really cares about. and he's a fisher guy himself. So
That's part of his fish influence.
yeah, I mean he's been pretty upfront about like this one's the most like him part in a story. So I think that's always cool when we see creators do that. That's probably what we connected with more than anything else, was getting to see the creator kind of be themselves in the story.
One other thing I saw that you don't always see in an indie comic is that the vibe of the artwork so very well matched the kind of story it was, that it's humorous but has like underlying seriousness, but it's a humorous story, and the artwork matches it. It goes along with it. And it's not just the way it's drawn, but also the colors that make it look like it's more professional. It's like everybody who participated in it understood what the end goal that they were trying to present was, and it came together very well.
Yeah. It was a good submission. He actually, for those that wonder, it wasn't nepotism. He actually went through the entire submission process, and we accepted his, and then immediately after we accepted another one that we haven't really talked about much yet. But that's been a fun process as well for us to learn, is like how to deal with people's submissions and like where we get to make statements. And for me as a creator myself, like I don't want people to feel like they have to change things to fit in with us. So basically, if it's something that we think is important, and there was a thing in Chad's book that we feel is important, Jessica and I, and we brought it up to him and we had a conversation about it. He was like, yeah, it doesn't change the story at all for me, so I'm perfectly fine changing it. Like, that's what we care about. We don't want to make anybody change anything. If we're not the right fit, then we're not the right fit. But this one came together, and I want to see the stupid thing funded, because it's a funny freaking book. And issue 2 promises stripper fish as well. So
yes. And we got to hear the artist the other day talk about him planning on drawing them, and I think that's gonna be it would be so much fun to have to pick the fish inspiration for stripper fish. Is that not just delightful? And the same kind of influences throughout issue 1, where you're seeing like the humor in these fish characters, and there's stuff in the back of the scenes on the wall that's just like nice little additions that the artist really cared about it. It's fun.
It's fun.
Like with Scales, when you were doing the campaign for it, Greg, I had read that one before. With Set the Hook, I've read that one before, and sometimes when someone's out there and they're looking for these comics, and the people who are selling them are people who, well, of course they made it, and of course they love it, and it's their passion project, and you wish you could just tell them, no, I promise, I've read this whole thing and I don't like them all, and I do really love these. But yeah, that Scales in particular was one, and Set the Hook were ones where I had read them beforehand, and you see that campaign going and you wish it would fund immediately, because those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Thanks. Unlike ink, it's like just a drag.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's weird right now.
Because superheroes are dead, obviously.
That's right.
My last campaign funded literally, like, we were down 2,000 and funded like hours before it was over.
I've had that experience a few times.
And it's like, you never know, man.
Yeah.
I was going to cancel it. I was like, man, I think I'm just going to take it down. And they were like, no. I think even Greg was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Some people think it's better to not cancel a campaign and just write it out, because like you never know.
Yeah. Well,
like we've canceled 2 campaigns I think ever, and it was because before we had any kind of audience at all, or I had any connections in like the indie comic community at all.
My only thought on that is the amount. Like I feel like that's kind of the crux of it, is like, okay, well, if you're going to get stuck with having to pay to fulfill all this because you made just enough for whatever the goal is that we all lie about and put on there, then like, was it actually worth it? That's kind of the thing that Jessica and I have talked about that a lot before, is like, well, how honest do we need to be with the number that we start out with on a Kickstarter? because like, as you guys know, like if you put a campaign up for $1,500 and you make 1,300 and you have a day left, you might make the 1,500, but how much are you paying out of pocket after that?
Exactly.
Like, does that balance out, or is it more worth canceling and then trying to rebuild it, do it again? I don't know. I've never canceled one, so these are just
Ralph.
things that we talk about. Hey, Ralph. Ralph,
Yeah.
Friday Injustice, for those wondering.
Oh,
I want so badly for the goal on campaigns to be what the goal really is, because I know that sometimes, or that people would outline what it's specifically for, just because I think it undervalues projects when a consumer sees that, oh, it only cost you $500 or it only cost you $1,000. It didn't, it cost so much more than that. And we didn't even count the main creator's time and effort, most likely. So I don't like seeing those low numbers. I think everyone should know and be honest. And if you have a low number, then like in my mind it should be because that was just for the printing and you already had everything else done. Yeah. Or it was just for the art, just to show the consumer, hey, wow, this is how much the art costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like after my last campaign, it was $4,000. Even after funding, I still owe my artist because after shipping and ordering the prints and everything, I couldn't pay him everything. But he's an awesome dude, and he was just like, bro, he was, I have full faith in Bad Wabbit. I think it's going to be amazing. Don't worry about what you owe me. It'll come out in the wash. And I was like, all right. Yeah. So he's already done with book 3, and I'm just like, all right, here we go. Let's do it.
That's great to have a team like that and that has confidence in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really have a big team. I have me, him, and my editor, and that's it. He does everything. He does the pencil, ink, line, everything. Even the lettering. So it's like I got a one-man team, and I didn't even try. But it's cool, man. It's cool.
Yep. It's tough. It's more of a question of like if it's what you really care about, is it worth it? And if it's not, then quit. It's the way I feel about it. Like I'd rather people that like 2020, Greg will remember this, or whoever was around during that time, but 2020 was like the year that everybody was like, I'm going to try to make a break in comics. And then I'm going to try to get it picked up as an IP to make a television show. Like that was that year. And then 2021, all those people were gone, just all of them. Yeah. I don't know. You have to find the things that keep you going. For me lately, it's been prose. I'm writing a lot more prose. So for anyone that needs something else to do, you should try prose.
I tried to write a novel, and then I kind of bored myself doing it. And then I started and then I started doing a novel that's set in our universe of like for our comics. And I was like, oh, I can actually write this. And it
but superheroes are dead.
It's not even a superhero story. It's more of a mafia story. So,
but it's set in the superhero world.
It is
dead.
Run.
Okay.
No, it's not easy writing novels, and I've tried it. When I first started talking to Chris Philbrook, he's a novelist. He's written, so many things, and it kind of inspired me. I was like, oh, I could do this, No. I can describe the scene. I can write a little dialogue, but writing an entire book of nothing but words, come on.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I have a novel that I've been working on since I was a teenager, and it's over halfway done. I just have not locked myself down enough to finish it. Yeah, but with that being said, like I do have the short story stuff that I put together that's coming out next year. And basically it's a collection of short stories from just various things that I've written and flash fictions. Like the one for Set the Hook will be in there. And I think at this point it's going to be a pretty hefty book. But I've enjoyed that because I do enjoy writing flash fictions. I enjoy writing short, kind of like throw you into the world and then, leave it on a cliffhanger. So you're like, well, what happened? And I'm just never going to revisit it because it's a short story and that's the point. So I get a kick and enjoyment out of that. Whereas, with comic book stuff, it's like, we kind of got to tell a full story.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna stick with comic books.
Short stories. So I wrote the first thing I ever wrote was in middle school, and it was a short story, and it was before I really knew what serial killers were. But it's basically a security guard in a mall that's like a failing mall in real life. And
Paul Blart.
Yeah, it's basically Paul Blart as a serial killer.
Yeah.
And it's basically that, but it was before Paul Blart was even a thing. And then I rewrote it because I still had it in my head. And then I was like, oh, I can make this more mature. Because in middle school, I didn't even swear or anything. And there is violence in it. So, I had like people,
violent people walking around going,
it's just a friend group.
Dag, nabbit.
It's a friend group that I had like a couple friends in middle school, and then a couple other people just came up to me and like, oh, that story that you're writing for English class, can I be in that story? I was like, oh, yeah. You're gonna die, and they're like, that's fine. And I was like, okay. So that I
$5. Give me $5 and I'll kill you in the book.
yeah. I'll write you in.
That's his first crowdfunding.
Right now.
And it was supposed to be a 15-page project, and it was like 83 page.
Nice.
Yep. And your teacher gave you an A, and they never read it.
Like this is cool. You get like extra credit. It's like, wow, extra credit. That's crazy.
Yeah. But did you say like, what'd you think of it though? And then they were like, oh, it was good.
It was good.
The teacher wanted my mom to read it, and my mom's like,
oh no.
She's like, you wrote this? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, this is good. I was like,
Yeah.
not the murder part. Like,
That's why she wanted your mom to read it.
Yep. And your mom was just like, hey, nice story, kid.
Yeah, good job, kid. How you feeling?
I was a 7th grader write this. So. Yeah, and then I rewrote it like 2 years ago, and then it's on Amazon.
Was that right before she sent you to a private school far away?
Yeah.
It's like surprising that I forget that it's on Amazon sometimes, and then I'm like, somebody ordered this. It's like, oh,
same here. Yeah, I didn't even. That was dumb of me. I guess the Restless thing that's coming out. The other book that's coming out with it is A Worship Shaped Hole, which is a book I wrote. Actually, it's a collection of things I wrote in college about biblical worship, but that's coming out alongside Restless. So that kind of campaign is really to get copies that I can bring to bookstores.
Yeah,
cool, man.
Yeah. So I do have a Kickstarter going on too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that Facebook algorithm. Yeah, so it's a tattoo artist that's turned to superhero, but superheroes are dead, so do you even care about it?
Right? Why are you even talking right now, Greg?
I know, right? I'm gonna shit. We had like 2 decreases.
What the crap is that?
Yeah, so there's this guy named Shane. He's a tattoo artist, and one day his life just turns upside down. West Philadelphia. No. He has like a premonition in issue 1, and then it actually comes true, and he's branded with this key tattoo, and I don't know why my laptop is being special. And then he has to go somewhere far away within 72 hours, or he dies, because the person that gives him that key tattoo says, you literally have to do this, or your destiny is sealed and you die if you don't do this. So obviously he does that. Spoiler for issue 1.
So in the other version of it, he doesn't do it, and it's a real short book.
It's a really short book. And he just dies. He just sits at home and just dies. He just
it's a failed choose your own adventure.
He's eating Cheetos, watching Netflix, just dead.
And issue 2 takes 3 years after the events of issue 1, like all his training and stuff. We skipped ahead, so we didn't show all the training because we're gonna show that later on in like flashbacks.
In flashbacks, yeah, of course.
And it looks it doesn't look really cool because like there's no art for it, but in my head it looks really cool. And,
It's gonna be real dope.
Yeah. And I told Adam, who's the artist, like about the second plot arc, because after issue 3, this is the last time you see Shane until this team up book, and we have a bunch of tiers that actually you can be part of the Faceless, which is the cult that's in the series.
Nice.
And you could be like members of the Faceless. And yes, they do wear masks
With your face, like with
but yeah, but like you like the mask will be like,
But like,
knocked off or something.
like you'll know it's you.
Yeah. I'll be like, it's that one. There's a person that we met at the one day convention that we did 2 weekends ago, and she backed the Kickstarter, and she's like, I couldn't not like be drawn into a comic. This is like the coolest thing.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And
Isn't it funny how superheroes aren't dead at cons?
I know, right? It's so crazy. It was actually it's a toy store / comic book store, but it's mostly like
Nice.
toys. Like
Yeah.
it's called
I
Toy
got
North. But yeah, she's like the reason like how we connected with her was Dylan just wanted to get a picture of both of us, and she was in a booth with her husband as a photographer, and she was like, "Oh, I was gonna come up to you guys like at some point when my husband was busy, doing something," and this is like really cool, and she's talking about ink and all that stuff. And she's like covered in tattoos. I was like, oh, you could be a character in this. And then she backed the Kickstarter like a couple days later after that event. And then she messaged me on Kickstarter and on Instagram.
Nice.
She's like, yeah, we definitely need to like connect.
Yeah.
Like just, and she's definitely going to be like a key member in the Faceless or something.
Key member. I see what you did there.
But just because like she's really cool person, and she's like, oh, like if you want to get like New York Comic Con, we can do that. And I was like,
That's
we're
fun.
not like
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
and
Don't even worry about it.
yeah. And Dylan's like, I don't think we're like big enough to be in there yet. And then she's like, shut the fuck up about that. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
okay. And,
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Why would you say that? Why would you say such a thing?
So yeah, but I wanted lettered pages like on the Kickstarter page because I'd like to like normally have letter pages, but Jerome is doing that like now.
Yeah.
So
It'd be like that.
yeah, he's busy with Travis Gibb. So
Wait, go back
Yeah.
to that picture of you. Is that you singing, bro? Are you singing?
what? No, that's
No, he's
me
giving his
at-
best man
Doing that
speech.
speech,
at
yeah.
best man speech. Yeah, that was one of the only weddings that I actually wanted to be at.
Aw.
It's actually the person that owned the dog that I have now. It's
You
him.
are his best man.
Yeah, it was me and then my friend Brett, but I'm the better best man.
You were the best man.
Yeah, because people like my speech more. I use index cards.
'Cause
I have
he-
props.
He brought maps.
Yeah, I have maps. I think Aaron is happy that we don't talk about our video game anymore.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
It's a thing. It's just like it's on hold because we have to do it.
Life.
Yeah. Well, the money.
Yeah.
I still get emails.
Money? I've heard tales
AKA
of money.
What makes life
I still get
work.
emails like from like spam people or whatever. Like I can help.
Same
you
here.
Your next
Yes.
Kickstarter for Sea Chronicles of Venetia, and I was
And what aggravates me now about it is I have a social media manager, so I don't have to deal with that. And so now he just thinks it's funny to forward it to me anyway.
Yeah. You still have to see it.
I still have to see it.
yeah, but yes,
It's just a
at
full
times we're
laughing
like,
report every time.
Yep.
yeah, at times we're like, I get emails and it's like, yeah, like your upcoming campaign.
I really like to talk to them though. I really do have a blast talking to those people.
Yeah. I haven't got that many spam people on this one actually.
Hmm.
Like I had a couple in the very beginning,
That's
and then
because
the
superheroes are
campaign-
dead.
Yeah, the campaign has been like just like a dead zone for most of the.
It's not just you though. Like,
No, I
man,
don't-
Jessica and I were talking about that yesterday. Like, so many of the people we know, unless boobs, just dead zone hard.
Yeah, like Aaron made an art print that's really cool.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
And
I like
he also made the
I like
design
the tattoo
for
pack.
the tattoo pack. I was actually thinking of making not a retail tier. I have that. Like a special reward tier that's like cosplay as Shane, and it's the easiest cosplay ever because all you need is all those tattoos,
Yeah.
like a blonde wig, or like just I don't know, just do your hair a certain way, and a black hoodie and jeans. Like that's all you need.
Bam.
So, yeah, it's pretty easy. Actually, that girl that we met at the convention, she said that she would like gender bend like any character we want. I was like, oh, okay.
Shayna.
I'm like, cool. But yeah, I didn't really know what to like offer in this campaign because like I didn't have certain art done, so I couldn't do like most of the story is at the end of the third issue. Most of it takes place at this like farm with these new characters.
So one night, Greg was sitting there taking shots, trying to figure out what he's going to offer.
Yeah.
So and then he looked down at his hand and he was like, "Oh, a shot glass."
Yeah. So he's in a nightclub in like the beginning of the third issue. So we have a shot glass because Printify offers shot glasses. So yeah, somebody ordered that, so that was kind of cool. And then I offered the sticker from the second last campaign because that's something I already have, so I don't have to like buy more of.
It's very important to do that.
Yeah,
especially when you have no money.
Exactly. Yeah, the money for my Kickstarters normally they're just for like shipping and printing. I pay the artist through my paycheck. So I would like to fix that. But I need to make enough money. Like I need to make Mittens money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But superheroes are dead, so
yeah, it's never gonna happen. At least there's Mittens.
At least there's Mittens. So.
Mittens was fun, man. I liked it.
The biggest thing that we sold at the last convention was our horror anthology, which was really cool. So when a lot of people saw that, they're like, "Oh, what is this?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
like Creep Show," and they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool, that's literally this, but like better." And they're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm better than Stephen King." What? No. And that hooked them like instantly. That and also in the second issue of Chronicles of Horror, I wrote one of two stories, and one of them is a turtle that's a serial killer, and I'm like, it's basically Chucky inside of a tortoise.
Yeah,
and they're like, that's awesome.
God, they're like, "Yep, let's try that."
And I was like, yeah. So I wrote that one, and Hector drew that. So he has the office, like a scene from the office in like the first panel, and then there's a blood trail going like down the hall, and then you're like, who's like killing who? Then you see that it's a turtle. So yeah.
I keep realizing I'm involved with too much stuff.
We're struggling to get to 50 backers, which is crazy. I normally have like 100 or something, so I don't know. It's crazy. Scales was like 69.
Yeah.
Back.
How much longer you have on it?
8 days. So yeah. But yeah, I would like to hit 50 backers at least, so we can unlock Ed Davis's Corruptor. So that'd be nice. I would like to,
It's a good book.
Yeah, I would like to get 150 so we can unlock like Girl Paradigm and Fog Within. Fog Within is pretty cool too.
Excuse me, it's Paradigm.
Okay. Redeem. Do people really have trouble like saying that?
Oh yeah.
Just
Paradigm is what I hear more than anything else.
I would like to hit a stretch goal if possible, at least the first one. The reason, so our original goal is 1,500, which is what I normally do. I saw that Kickstarter was struggling for a lot of people, so I lowered it to 1,200, and I was like, I just want to hit the goal. and then now it's like just staying close.
Yeah.
And I was like, was
Crap.
that a mistake?
This isn't actually what I wanted.
Yeah, because Dylan or somebody was like, "Did you hit your first stretch goal?" I was like, "Nope." Yeah, we're struggling to get there. And they're like, "Oh, what was the goal?" When I was like 1,200. So, yeah. If we don't
Glad
get this commentary,
Glad we didn't launch in June, Jessica.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, like I don't know.
Not the season. I don't know.
There's an insane amount of projects, and there have been in the last couple of months. It's like 350 comic projects or something.
Weird, but yeah. Yes, the money goes towards art for actually. Some of the money will go towards shipping, printing, and the awards and stuff. And then the art is actually going to be for issue 1, like remaster, and also scales too. So, yeah.
Bam.
Yep. That's ink. So
Biggity bam.
back that because I would like more money.
I did my part.
But yeah. So
Did we do it? Did we solve the world's problems?
yeah.
We've provided an array of delightful books to choose from.
Yes, indeed.
Opportunities for everyone.
Exactly.
So we can go around the room one more time. You guys can say like your little elevator pitch of what you're doing, and then you can leave.
You can leave.
So we'll start with Joe.
Alma, what if Buffy was a 72-year-old grandmother? It's simple. I don't think I can put it any better than that.
Cool.
I'm usually terrible about creating taglines for my comics, but that was like the best one I've ever come up with.
Yeah, on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can check out Bad Wabbit. It is about an alcoholic rabbit in a dystopian post-apocalyptic world, set on a mission to save it, maybe. So
Yeah,
have
that's the
to
mission,
find out.
anyways.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, he's Wabbit. He's gonna do what Wabbit does. So go check it out. Yeah.
Who's next? Sorry.
I will say you should go check out Set the Hook because it hasn't funded yet and it only has so many days yet. And I promise, I swear, I genuinely believe it is such a good looking at project and a good story. You really should go follow the link and get it delivered to your home.
Straight to the house.
Take
Take my ball and go home.
Story, you need it.
Yes. Back Set the Hook. Sign up for whatever that link is that I did the Indiegogo one for Restless. Whether you are going through a divorce and custody battle yourself, then you need it. But you probably know a gentleman who is struggling through it, and I promise it's gone to multiple dudes. And multiple dudes have said it's helped, and that's what matters. So check that out. Grab it for somebody else if you want, and also if you're into stuff like biblical study, then there's a biblical worship book on there as well. So sign up for all that, and back Set the Hook.
Yeah, do that. Do that, people. Oh, we had viewers that missed one, so that's good. Like the last one I did, like nobody was around. I was like, oh.
Say it while you're still live.
Yeah, you're supposed to cut before you say
I know,
We already had our permission to leave. Be gone by now.
Well, I'm going to be out. I will see you guys later. Have a great evening. It's been fun. I hope we get to do it again soon.